Okay. This is Megan Henry with the Humanities Truck. We're here at City Point on May 25th. And may I ask your name?
Sheri Bailey.
Nice to meet you. And the question I have for you today is what does Juneteenth mean to you?
Wow, that's a loaded question. A little background, when I first heard about Juneteenth, I'd never heard of it at all. A lot of people have that experience. But once I got to know it and started to share it with other people, I remember it would always be June who? June what? And so I spent a lot of time just kind of getting people to understand what the word was, and through that started to tell the story. And for me, I discovered Juneteenth in California. I was living in Los Angeles, and just one day just kind of wandered into this festival that was Juneteenth, and someone explained what it was, and I'm like, wow, that's amazing. And then fast forward, and I moved back home to Virginia, and I realized that so much of the history that was my local history was the history of the slavery in America. And so at that point, I started researching and writing plays that kind of featured this history, and taking those plays into schools and churches wherever I could get a foot in the door. And a big part of it was having a post-show conversation with the audience. We talk about this difficult history, and now we need to talk about what it means to us now and how do we move forward. So for me, Juneteenth means being able to reframe the American history that includes all of the history and allows us to be able to have conversations about that history in ways that are productive and healing. And it's been a great run. You know, we celebrated 25 years last year, and we have in Virginia. It was a state holiday. In 20, I forget when exactly. I think 2019, Virginia, basically the nation we are today, started here in Virginia. And so that makes that history extremely important because it is American history that needs to be shared in a way that people understand what truly happened and not be afraid of that. So we got a lot of difficult history that we have to deal with in Hampton Roads, primarily the Nat Turner insurrection. And just kind of, again, a reframing of that history from the Juneteenth perspective. We are wanting to educate people about what we call the War Against Slavery, WAS, which basically starts with the Nat Turner insurrection in 1831 and goes to 1877, which is when federal troops were pulled from the South, which allowed for the rise of the KKK and Jim Crow. So the War Against Slavery is one of our huge platforms and by which we want to educate people about that. And we primarily do that, again, through the plays that we produce and then have those audience discussions with people to kind of get through the crux of it all. So I think I'm rambling now, so I'm going to stop. But this is good to kind of talk it out. I appreciate that.
Of course. And how did you come to get involved with this event that's today?
Well, I'm a member of the National Juneteenth Board of Directors, and all things Juneteenth is truly the way it works, And I'm trying to remember. I know. I got a call from Dr. Ronald Myers many years ago. You've heard of him, I think, and he was a big, just oversized man. He was just bigger than life, really. And he called me like 2 a.m. and he's like, "Sheri Bailey, you're my Virginia Juneteenth director, state director." I'm like, "Who are you? And why are you calling me at 2 a.m?" And but he would be on the road. He visited, I think, 49 out of the 50 states, taking the Juneteenth message. And the fact that we are now a federal holiday goes directly back to all of his hard work. And somehow or another, I got caught up in it all. And, it is now I'm part of the Juneteenth family. And I think that it being a federal holiday is a healthy, strong, good thing for America because we obviously need to figure out how to deal with racial, inequities and bias and all those things. And Juneteenth is, I think, a a good way to do that in a way that is not threatening and not oversized in terms of like what it's trying to accomplish. So yeah, I got involved. Yeah, I got caught up in the Juneteenth fever.
Yeah, well, thank you very much for interviewing with us today.
You're quite welcome. Thank you.